Hello, my name is Ignacio Landeta. I am going to create a program to-do list um, in AngularJS. This is my project in GitHub. I have kind of Kanban, this project, the to-do backlog, which is the product, uh, progress, and that in progress I divided the project in six steps. The first one, design the to list prototype, which is kind of this. Then code the HTML file and body structure. Then add classes to that HTML markups and elements. So I can create the CSS style sheet file based on that classes. When I have this HTML and CSS structure, then I'm going to add some AngularJS directives and controllers to the HTML elements. These controllers, are ng-app, controller, scope, object, etc. Once I design that, controllers and directives, I have to create and code the AngularJS script, which is going to generate functions and the logic algorithms for the application. AngularJS is kind of MVC, module view controller. So this is the project, and in the final I will test this application. So I'm going to use some YouTube tutorial to guide myself during the process. The to-do list is not supposed to admit repeated items. It allows to add items and delete items also. This is the functionalities. So the first thing is I'm going to create an HTML and a CSS file using Visual Studio Code. I'm going to name this to-do list.html and style to-do list.css. Okay. So I'm going to create the typical HTML body. Okay. Dot type HTML. HTML. Head. Body. Inside the head, I'm going to use a link. Or I'm going to relate that it's some style sheet. Type text CSS and href style to-do list CSS. Oh, going to So I'm going to import AngularJS framework from JS.com. One point 8.2. Cloud4.com, Angular 1.8.2, Angular main.js. Copy link. Okay. I'm going to add AngularJS script. Text JavaScript. Source string. Okay, this is Angular 1.8.2. Sounds awesome. See you at the end. Awesome. 5:15:1. Okay. Ajax. Ajax lives from awesome. Get the two CSS. Okay. So I'm going to put another link. Ref. Okay, now I have JavaScript AngularJS framework. I have AngularJS framework and a CSS href. So I'm going to code the HTML body for this app. I'm going to add only the classes, not the directives and controllers. First classes, so I can reference to my CSS style sheet, and then I'm going to add the directives, controllers, and the script code. Okay, so This is the prototype we want to create. This is the HTML body. So we can see each element. This is the H1 element, to-do list up. This is the main div element, class main. I'm not thinking about the modules and controllers yet, only structure. This is the input input text with this markup. This is other element, class fastfastblues, which is going to add each new product to list. This is an order list, which is going to list the products or task or anything you want to add, which is in this line code, an order list. And of course, it has inside, okay, kind of list items. It's going to be added once we press this add button. And finally, a paragraph with error text in case we repeat the item. So this to-do list accepts adding new items to the list, which can be products, tasks, etc. We are supposed to think about any function which not allows to repeat the item, and also it is supposed to allow to delete with this trash can any item we don't want anymore. This is the error text. So let's code these lines here. I'm not going to add the modules and controllers AngularJS yet, only the elements. Set a main div with h1 head to-do list up, let's say with AngularJS. With AngularJS. A second div this. Okay. Which let's find search. Let's create the input bottom. This one. Input text, sorry. This one. Type text. Placeholder. Add ToDo. And this span which is going to have an ng-click and this element with class as falters. This is connected with the library. This is div, and then we have the another list which is going to list each item. Inside the main div, not this one, but this one, another list, which is going to list each of the elements let's call them okay, let's add this I button. So let's call each element X. Then we're going to and to finish this line and to finish this line once I design the AngularJS code. Let's call X, and it's supposed to repeat and list each product from some kind of list I will define. This list we will have a class called fun trash alt. Okay, now I'm going to, because I need to test this before this one. Another list. The list. Class one. This is the trash. This trash can. And finally, let's add some paragraph, which is going to be some error text message. We're going to define later in the AngularJS code, which is this one. Okay, so now we have the HTML structure body, div h1, input text, some list item with this prototype. Let's see how this looks like before we add some CSS style. Okay, this is not final product, but start to having some similarity, let's say. Okay. So let's back here. Now we are supposed to add some CSS style. Okay, let's start with this. I have already created this style to list CSS, which is ref here, style to list CSS. Start with this. Import URL. Okay, I'm going to pause this. Okay, this is going to import this font API. So let's start with this CSS. Let's say the body. It's going to be Shopify Content Center display flex font family Poppins, which is going to be from this API. Poppins. Sans serif. Okay. See, this is body. Okay, now let's assign some CSS style to this element, the main element. Which we are supposed to have some kind of gray background. Main with 100x adding x background color. Okay. Okay, let's see. Fine. Now we have some green background, I suppose. Next item is the h1 element. Color E69, the margin 10 pixels side. Okay, it's center and kind of Now we're going to design the input text, this element. Input type text. Wait, 92%. Body 10 px. Font size. And that's margin left 8x. Other radius x. Border none. Outline none. Let's say outline green. Green. Outline green. Oh, no. Okay, let's style the search element. Which is going to be this element. Search. position relative dot search span position absolute top minus 2x right px padding 2 pixels display x border radius. This is important because we are going to have some kind of circle with 100% radius and kind of pointer. Perfect. This is the at bottom. Now we're going to assign some style to the list elements. This one. Okay. Now the list with padding 2px list style none. Now the list background white margin 5px margin 5px background white margin 5px padding 10px border right right here minus px border right 4 this for px solid this order right 5 for px solid yellow, like that. Same for order left. Order left for px solid see, fine, this is okay. Okay, now we are going to style each of the elements, I elements. This is the order list I. Order list I. Padding px float right cursor pointer how cursor pointer, okay, trash can and style. And finally, we are going to style the paragraph, error text paragraph, which is this one in red text. Hello, red text line center, I guess. Okay, fine. So, okay, now we have finished the HTML body and the CSS style sheet. Now we are going to proceed with the AngularJS code. So here he's coding the script inside the HTML file. I'm going to create a new file called controller to the list.js, and I'm going to add script here with the source controller to the list.js, and I'm going to work this night away, and I'm going to work inside this file, not inside the HTML file. Okay, before I code the modules and the functions for this JavaScript, I'm going to check and assign different directives and controllers to the HTML elements. That is the most important thing. So this is going to be like that. For the div, which is the main structure of the body, I'm going to create this ng app, which is going to be the app module for AngularJS. Let's say my shopping list, an ng controller. Let's call that my controller. Then here in the input text, which I create with this pointer button, I'm going to create an ng model called add me. This model is going to save the data from this text input. In the spam element, we're going to add an ng click. So when I click the add button, this is going to do something which is going to be a function which adds the item to the list, checks if it already exists, in that case add it to the list, and if it does not exist, it add it to the list, and if it does already exist, it's supposed to show some error text. So this is going to be with a ng click directive, which we are going to call like add item. This is going to be some kind of function. Add item. Here we have this class. Span ng add item. Click. Span. Okay. In this div, we are going to add some ng repeat directive, which is going to say show X with X in, say, products or items, it's the same. X in product, show X each time we click and add some item. Oh, this is how it's going to add each item. For this element, also, which is the trash element, okay. We are going to add some ng click directive, which is going to be defined by a function that we can call remove item from some index. So this ng click is this trash can. It's going to have this class trash alt y list. Okay, and we have here, yeah. So with this we have the HTML body, the app and controller and directives for AngularJS. Now we have to code the JS file script. This is going to be this one. Okay. First thing is define the app module. Which is going to be this app shopping list. Okay, second step, we're going to create the app controller. which is going to be this controller, and function scope, which is the most important. And inside this scope function controller, we are going to create each scope function. Let's create some products list, example milk, bread, eggs. These products are this one, milk, bread, eggs. This is like the initial products, which are going to be this list. Okay. Then we are going to create the add item function. Add item is once you press the add button, it's supposed to happen something. What is supposed to happen? When the algorithm should check the list, see if the item does exist or not. If the item does not exist, the function adds it to the list. If the item already exists, it's supposed not to be added and show some kind of error text. Let's see how to do this. Scope.add item, which is going to be function. Is going to show some error text, which is this one. And the logic is the following. Okay, what is this saying? If the product is not -1 inside the index of the product list, then push that item inside the list. Else, if the item is already in the index list, then show some error text, which is going to be this item is already in your to-do list. This is the logic. If scope add me -1, enter ngModel add me. Take the input test, index of add me -1 is not, then push to if the item does not already exist, push to the list. Else, define or show some error text says this item is already in your to-do list. Okay, this is to add some new item. Now we are going to code the remove function. This ng-click remove item when we want to delete some item. Okay. Scope remove item which is going to be defined as a function x splice x1, delete 1. Okay. Perfect. This is the initial list, which is this line. This button allows to add some new items. This function here, ng-click, add item. Add item is this function which checks whether or not the item is already in the list. If we try again, this is going to show the error text. Which is defined by this else logic. We can delete the items with the remove item function. So this is it. This is my AngularJS project for a to-do list application. Thank you for watching.